Yeah, 911, this is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is an off-duty officer. I need EMS.
Do you need police as well or just EMS?
Yes, I need both.
Okay, what's the address?
I'm at apartment number 1478. It's 1210 South Lamar. 1478, yeah.
What's going on?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
He shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God.
Within approximately 4 minutes of the 911 call, multiple Dallas police officers responded to the scene.
4th floor, apartment 1478.
Over here.
Okay, go ahead and talk.
No, it's me. I'm off duty. I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
I thought it was my apartment.
Where's she shot at?
In the top left.
So this female officer goes to the wrong apartment and kills the person who's living in that apartment. She's tried, convicted, and now wants to get out on parole. Let's talk about it. Okay, on the night of September 6, 2018, Botham Jean, a 26-year-old accountant, was chilling in his own apartment, minding his own business, eating some ice cream, and watching an NFL game. Living below Mr. John is Amber Guyger. She's an off-duty Dallas police officer, and she has just completed a 13-and-a-half-hour shift. Now, Amber goes into the building, goes to the wrong floor, enters the wrong apartment, shoots and kills Mr. John. Now, the legal question here is simple. Is she guilty of murder, manslaughter, or was this self-defense? Now, since this occurred in Texas, we're looking at what murder and manslaughter is under Texas law. Now, murder is the intentional killing of someone, while manslaughter is the unintentional killing of someone. Now, a more recent example of manslaughter is the Alec Baldwin trial, where he pointed what he believed was an empty prop gun at the cinematographer, pulled the trigger, and that gun happened to be loaded, and it killed her. That's an unintentional killing, so he was charged with manslaughter. So now, initially Guyger was charged with manslaughter, but public outrage didn't let that slide. And because, let's face it, we're sitting here talking about a black man shot in his own home by a white police officer. That led to the charges being upgraded to murder. Now, people were saying, hold up, how does an unarmed black man in his own house eating ice cream watching a football game get mistaken for a burglar? So now, it's going to be up to you to determine whether she should have been charged with murder, manslaughter, or whether this is a self-defense case. So, on the night of September 6, 2018, Amber Guyger, a white Dallas police officer, completed a 13-and-a-half-hour shift. She returned home to the Southside Flats apartment in Dallas, Texas. Now, she generally parks her vehicle on the 3rd floor where her apartment's at, but this time she accidentally parked on the 4th floor. Now, after exiting her car, Guyger is texting with a co-worker who she's having an intimate affair with.
In the minutes before the shooting, Guyger and fellow officer Martin Rivera allegedly had a phone call and exchanged sexually explicit messages. Rivera took the witness stand Monday.
I really don't remember a whole lot else about the conversation.
She walks down the hallway towards what she believes to be her apartment, but she's actually one floor directly above her apartment. Now, when she gets to the door of the apartment, she fails to notice that she's on the wrong floor and doesn't even recognize the bright red doormat in front of the door.
In front of Botham's apartment is this extremely obvious bright red floor mat.
Now, when she gets to the apartment door, she notices that the door is slightly open. She hears some shuffling inside and assumes that there's an intruder in her apartment. She opens the door and steps inside. So when she enters the apartment, she sees Botham Jean sitting down on the couch inside his own apartment, eating ice cream and watching a football game. She draws a fire alarm and says, "Show me your hands, show me your hands." Jean stands up and says, "Hey, hey, hey." And at that time, she then pumps 2 shots in his chest. Now, after the shooting, she realizes that she's in the wrong apartment. She calls 911 and repeatedly states that she believed that she was in her own apartment. During the 911 call, she mentions 19 times that she believed that she was in her own apartment.
Get up, man.
Yeah, 911, this is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is an off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number...
What's going on?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
He shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Guyger. I need to get me. I'm in.
Okay, we have help on the way.
I know, but I'm gonna lose my job. I thought it was my apartment. I need a supervisor. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Come on. I thought it was my apartment. I could have sworn I parked on the 3rd floor.
Okay, I understand.
I thought it was my apartment.
Okay, and what floor are you in right now?
The 4th floor. Hey, bud. They're coming, bud. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, where was he shot?
He's on the top left. Oh my God, I'm done. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Stay with me, bud. She's tired. Hurry. Over here.
Okay, go ahead and talk to him.
No, it's me. I'm off duty. I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
Now, Mr. John died from his injuries that night, and Amber Guyger was arrested and charged with manslaughter on September 9th, 2018. Now, those charges were upgraded to murder charges, and she was set to go to trial. Okay, let me pause this video and ask you a question. Have you used Google Chrome's Incognito Mode between 2016 and 2023? If so, you may be entitled to up to $5,000 in compensation. Now, if you use Incognito Mode, Google was secretly tracking your data, despite their promises that your search history and personal information was not going to be collected or tracked.
Collects 39 individual data points on you, and so this is all about data. They're trying to figure out how they can get access to it. So creating this Incognito Mode was supposed to be a way that they were not capturing or retaining your data. That's what we all believed, but they were capturing it. What Google says is we were capturing it, but we weren't keeping it on an individual basis. But the individuals that filed suit was saying no. We signed up for Incognito Mode believing that when we used it, you weren't capturing our data at all.
What's the next thing, right? So speaking of what's the next thing, what happens to Google now? Are they at risk of more lawsuits from this?
100%.
So if you've used Google's Incognito Mode during the period of 2016 to 2023, you could be eligible to join the lawsuit at no cost to you. Visit browserclaim.com to see if you qualify. There are no upfront costs, no hidden fees. Simply fill out the form and start your claim. Now, I need you to understand, participating in any lawsuit doesn't guarantee compensation, but you do have the right to seek compensation if your privacy was violated. Now, full disclosure, my firm isn't the only one involved. For instance, one of the largest firms in the country, Morgan & Morgan, is also asking for clients for this lawsuit. Now, for more information and to get started, visit browserclaim.com today to protect your rights and hold Google accountable. Now, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to the video. So Amber's defense was simple. This was an honest and reasonable mistake. She genuinely believed that she was entering her own apartment. Now, the defense is going to argue that for murder, you need some type of intent. And here, you don't have any intent. This wasn't premeditated, and there was no prior relationship for them to even develop some type of intent. So with that, this couldn't, under the law, be murder. Now, the state prosecutors here say there was clearly intent, just like if she was going to rob a convenience store. The intent can happen within the moment. They claim that her intent was developed when she drew her weapon, pointed at Mr. John, talked to him by giving him verbal commands, and then pulled the trigger. They're claiming when she pointed that gun at Mr. John, she intended to cause him serious bodily injury that unfortunately killed him, and that is intentional murder.
When you shot at Mr. Jean, you knew you were using deadly force against him.
Yes.
And when you shot at him twice, you intended to kill him.
Yes, sir.
She told the jury, she told everyone in that courtroom that she intentionally shot Botham Jean to kill him.
Now, I have to note the defense also argued self-defense in this case. The defense's argument is that Guyger believed that she was in her own apartment. And if her belief was reasonable, then her shooting an intruder was covered under the castle doctrine. Someone was breaking into her home.
During closing arguments, Guyger's attorneys had brought up Texas's so-called castle doctrine, similar to stand your ground laws in other states, which allows someone to use deadly force against an intruder in self-defense.
So now with all that, the jury found her guilty and she's doing 10 years in prison.
About 5 hours of jury deliberations led to this moment.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
The family of the man Amber Guyger shot erupted in cheers, but the former Dallas police officer sat silent.
Amber Guyger then appealed her conviction.
Attorneys today for Amber Guyger filing paperwork to overturn her 2019 murder conviction and instead convict her of negligent homicide. The former Dallas police officer is currently serving 10 years for killing Botham Jean in his own apartment in September of 2018. They argue since she believed there was an intruder in her apartment, use of deadly force was justified. homicide.
So Amber's team was saying that she wasn't guilty of murder because she didn't intend to kill him. She was guilty of criminally negligent homicide, which, if found guilty, could get you 2 years in prison versus the 10 years she's serving for murder. But the appeals court didn't buy it. They said, hey, you said you intended to kill him on the stand, so we're going to uphold your conviction.
10. Former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger has lost her attempt to get her murder conviction overturned. The Texas appeals court ruled her conviction and 10-year prison term should stand for the shooting death of her neighbor, Botham Jean, 3 years ago inside his apartment. Guyger wanted the appeals court to change her sentence to criminally negligent homicide, and that would have triggered a new court hearing and a new possible punishment. She testified that she had mistakenly walked into the wrong apartment and shot and killed Jean.
So now, it's been 6 years since the shooting, 5 years since the trial, and Amber Guyger's up for parole.
Attention, Botham Jean shot and killed in his apartment by then Dallas police officer Amber Guyger after she mistook his apartment for her own. She was convicted of murder, and as of today, she is eligible for parole.
So, as you could imagine, there were a lot of mixed opinions. Here's what the family had to say.
She needs to serve her entire 10-year term, which is way below a sentence that one receives for murder. And murder of an innocent man in the comfort of his home, doing nothing wrong.
Now, on top of the family's objections, the community had major objections and started a letter writing campaign, and the DA's office also objected to letting her out early.
Guyger is now up for parole, and a grassroots letter writing campaign and petition drive wants to prevent it.
But people from around the state have launched campaigns to tell that board they want Guyger to remain in jail all 10 years of her original sentence. Some have taken to writing letters to the parole board, and there is a change.org petition that is gaining some traction online. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office also sent a letter to the parole board asking for Guyger's parole to be denied.
So with all that public pressure, the Board of Paroles and Pardons denied Amber Guyger's request.
Back now to our top story. We have learned that Amber Guyger will stay in prison, at least for now.
Yeah, the family of Botham Jean tells us that she was denied parole on Thursday. Now, Guyger was sentenced to 10 years for murdering Botham Jean in his apartment. She was a Dallas police officer at the time of that shooting.
Guyger will be up for parole again in 2 years, at which point she'll have 3 years left in her sentence. Madison, Carmen?
Now, based on all of this, I actually think manslaughter is for sure. You got manslaughter for sure. The murder conviction, I think the prosecution's lucky to get. I think it was 50-50 on that one, because I think you could make a reasonable argument there's no intent here, but I also think you can make an argument that there is intent here. So, you know, it's at that point in time, it's whoever has the best argument. I think the prosecution has the better of the two arguments. So with all that, let me know how you feel in the comment section. Do you think this was an intentional homicide, or do you think this was an unintentional homicide, which is a tragic accident, which is essentially manslaughter? Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section. As always, my name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.